In fact, let me also, draw in at this point Major General Sudhakar Jee. Major General Sudhakar Jee, do you see this threat by Iran translating into reality? Have efforts already started to block the Strait of Hormuz? The entire strait is not controlled by them, but they do control a large chunk of it. Do you then see this as possibly one of the tactics that they will adopt to signal their displeasure on the US's direct involvement as well now?
Uday, good evening. Thank you for getting me to your show, and compliments to very distinguished panelists. What I'm going to share with you is my perspective based on some degree of research. Now, I personally feel that the Strait of Hormuz is going to turn into a new and a fresh flashpoint, global flashpoint in times ahead. The real battle is not going to be fought in the hinterland of Iran. This is the place, if Iran wants to teach a lesson to its adversary, it should actually pitch in heavily and gravitate all its effort to this 30-kilometer wide at the narrowest point, and the widest point is around 50 kilometers. Now, in doing so, out of 8 island territories that this particular strait has, Iran has got control on the majority of the island territories. They have carried out rehearsal to the best of my knowledge in the past. They have also got contingency planning, the communication network, command, control, coordination, surveillance capability. I don't know what surveillance capability, residual capability they are left with now because the air defense is gone. But I'm given to understand that they do have some degree of capability which has been reinforced or enhanced very clandestinely by some well-known alliances of Iran, particularly, if I may suspect, it could be Russia, because Iran went in for a strategic partnership with Russia early part of this year, and I'm given to understand very discreetly very heavy cargo ships have already docked in the Persian Gulf, and there are large chunks, quantum of stores, equipments, warlike stores and all, which have been shifted to Iran. Perhaps those who have got the pulse of the ground, they will be able to corroborate. Now, in doing so, you see the channel can be divided into a couple of subsectors of domination. One is actually dominated by Oman, which is hugging the coastline of Oman. Another one is dominated, predominantly I would say, is dominated by Iran. But there is also a small portion of one island which is dominated by, where they have a dispute, by the UAE. Besides this, the nearest American base, to my understanding, is the Bahrain, where they have adequate resources and extended reach by virtue of presence of air assets. Also, they have got the standoff capability, kinetic component, which they'll be able to address, and they have got a real-time kind of a surveillance capability to pick up intelligence and neutralize. The fact of the matter is, now that you're holding a kind of a panel discussion, it entails us to divide the subject into, firstly, is Iran going to do it or not? Whether Iran is going to do it or not, my answer to the question is, this is an option where the self-esteem of a nation has been deeply hurt and anguished. I personally feel it is not like any other country. It's a civilizational country. It has got its own character. It has got its own image. It is to be once upon a time a kind of a global power. And look at the kind of conflicts it has gone through, whether it is Iran-Iraq conflict from 1980 to 88, and thereafter off and on, they are the arch rivals of Israelis. The Israelis do not want Iran to exist on the map of Middle East, and so as Iran doesn't expect the Israel to exist on the map of, so there is an arch rivalry which is ongoing, and the conflict is being experienced by both the stakeholders. But the issue here is, what else? If Iran has to redeem its humiliation, the way it has been actually battered with a deception measure by the global superpower, will any country accept such kind of humiliation? I personally feel that if push comes to shove or otherwise, Iran will definitely exercise this option. Although, what are the ramifications of this option? The ramification is that 20% of the global oil passes through this particular strait. And as far as India is concerned, we have almost about 54% of the India's crude oil coming from the Middle East. And besides that, we have there are other impacts as well. Almost about 40% of our remittances. You see, the diaspora also plays a role. Indian diaspora is going to be grossly impacted. And out of $129.4 billion that are remitted to India every year, particularly in past 3-4 years, almost about 40% or more are being remitted by the Indian diaspora, which is numbering to almost about 9 million in this particular region. And the two-way trade between the Middle East and India is roughly around 170 billion or little more than that. So be that as it may, the issue remains that we have around 10,000 students and workers in the region. That is, I'm talking about Iran. Some people say around 11,000, 25,000 in the Israel. And our trade with Israel has come down from 14 billion to 1.4 billion. And with Iran, it has come down from 11 billion in 2022 to 3.75 billion. These are the impacts which India has to go through. But the issue remains that if at all they go to block or cut off this particular thing, Strait of Hormuz, the impact is going to be enormous. The route of sea lanes of communication is going to be rerouted through Cape of Good Hope, thereby increasing the traveling time by 14 days. The cost of every product is likely to rise anything between 10 to 20%. Hence, it is going to impact the whole of the world. The worst affected is going to be China. China has got 83% of its crude being imported from all over the world. And when it comes to this particular region, it's almost close to 50%.
Right.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.